empty your mind. High on a mountain, beyond the murmur of the paths and the hustle of the days, lived an old master named Haruki. His cabin was small, surrounded by bamboo that softly creaked in rhythm with the wind. There, silence was not absence, but presence, a whisper that wrapped around everything. One afternoon, as the sun slowly sank behind the clouds, a young monk climbed up to the cabin with hurried steps and a mind full of thoughts. "Master Haruki," he said, bowing, "I have read many books, practiced long meditations, but my mind cannot find rest. What should I do?" The master did not answer immediately. Instead of words, he prepared tea. He took a delicate porcelain cup and began to pour the liquid gently. The young man watched silently until the cup began to overflow. "Master, it's spilling," he exclaimed, alarmed. Haruki looked at him calmly and said in a serene voice, "Your mind is like this cup. If it is full, it cannot receive anything new. To find peace, you must first empty it." The young man fell silent. Something in those words opened a crack in his thinking, as if a sigh gently touched his tired soul. And as the night wind caressed the bamboo, silence began to enter him. That night, the young monk did not return to the temple. He stayed in the master's cabin, beside the faint fire that crackled like an ancient whisper. "How do I empty my mind, master?" he asked in a low voice, as if afraid to wake the forest. Haruki looked at him for a long moment, as if contemplating a question that needed no answer. Then he stood and walked to the back of the cabin, where there was a small pond of clear water. Beside it, a stone bowl rested under the moonlight. The master filled the bowl with water, and then, without saying a word, slowly tilted it, letting the water spill onto the earth. "The mind does not empty by fighting thoughts," he whispered as the water disappeared. "It empties when you stop clinging to them, when you let them come and let them go, like water that does not resist the bowl." The young man watched in silence. He felt something heavy inside begin to loosen, as if his thoughts, one by one, started to vanish into the cool night air. The wind blew softly, the bamboo sang, and for a moment, the young man's mind felt lighter. The next morning, the young man woke with the dawn light filtering through the leaves. Everything was calm. No bells, no voices, no tasks. Only the sound of birds and the slow heartbeat of the world. Haruki stood by the pond, watching the surface of the water. The young man approached silently, as if not wanting to break the stillness. "Look at the water," said the master. "What do you see?" "I see my reflection, and the trees, and the sky," replied the young man. Haruki nodded. "Now throw this stone," he said, handing him a small pebble. The young man obeyed. The stone fell and the water stirred. Ripples spread out and the reflection disappeared. "That is your mind," said the master. "When it's full of thoughts, like the disturbed water, you cannot see clearly. But when it is calm, everything is reflected effortlessly." The young man kept watching the pond. The ripples slowly faded away. And there, in that silence that needed no explanation, he began to understand what he had only heard before. It was not about control. It was about allowing everything to calm on its own. That day, the master and the young man walked through the forest. They didn't speak. It wasn't necessary. Every step was a conversation with the earth, every breath a gesture of surrender. As they walked, a golden leaf fell from a tree and slowly drifted down, dancing in the air before settling on the damp ground. Haruki stopped and pointed to the leaf. "Did you see how it fell?" he asked. "Yes," replied the young man. "Effortlessly. It didn't struggle." "That's how a thought falls when you don't chase it," said the master. That's how the mind empties. Not with force, but with gentleness. Watch your thoughts as you watch that leaf fall, and let them go. The young man closed his eyes, and in that moment, something inside him aligned with the rhythm of the forest, with the sigh of the branches, with the dance of the leaves. He felt that his mind, for the first time in a long while, did not run, did not cling. It simply was. It simply existed, and that being was peace. That night, the young man and the master sat by the fire. The sky was clear, and the stars hung like small lamps above the mountain. Neither of them spoke, but in the silence, something sacred was revealed. Suddenly, an owl hooted in the distance, then the crack of a branch, and then again silence. Haruki lifted his eyes and said, "Listen carefully, not just to the sounds. Listen to the space between them." The young man frowned, confused at first, but as he closed his eyes and listened calmly, he noticed something. Between each sound, there was a pure moment, formless, weightless, a suspended instant as vast as the sky, a space in which nothing happened, and yet everything was. "That space," said the master softly, "is like the emptiness in your mind. It's always there. You just need to notice it." The young man took a deep breath. That space was not absence. It was presence. And in it, he discovered a silence that was not emptiness, but fullness. At dawn, while the mist gently brushed the treetops, the young man sat alone at the edge of a cliff. He felt the murmur of the wind on his skin and the calm breath of the mountain. A black crow flew overhead, gliding through the air without any apparent direction. Above, a cloud floated slowly, without intention, without haste. The young man watched, and suddenly he understood something. The crow didn't think about where to go. It just flew. The cloud didn't decide its shape. Simply was. The young man's mind, bound for so long by questions, began to surrender to simplicity, to what needed no explanation. "I don't have to control every thought," he whispered to himself. "Just let them come and go, like the crow, like the cloud." And there, sitting at the edge of the world, with a silent heart and a mind like the clear sky, he felt a peace so deep it couldn't be explained, only lived. That afternoon, as the shadows lengthened over the grass, Master Haruki sat beside the young man. They shared a bowl of rice in silence, as if each bite were a sacred act. Then Haruki spoke with the calm of one who is no longer in a hurry. "When the mind is emptied, the heart fills with what is essential." The young man nodded. He had no more questions. He no longer sought answers. He was simply there, present, breathing with the world. "And now, what should I do, master?" he asked, not out of restlessness, but out of habit. The elder smiled. "Nothing," he said. "You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go anywhere. An empty mind does not seek. It simply is." The young man closed his eyes. He felt the fresh air entering through his nose. He felt the earth beneath his legs. He felt his own heartbeat, calm like a distant drum. For the first time, he did not need to move forward or backward. He did not have to be more or less. Just existing was enough. That night, before sleeping, the young man gazed at the sky. The stars did not move out of desire. They shone effortlessly. They did not try to be seen. They simply existed. Then he understood clearly. An empty mind is not a mind without thoughts, but a mind that does not cling to them. Just as the sky does not hold on to the clouds, he too could let his thoughts pass, without struggling, without capturing them, without fearing them. He lay down on a straw mat. Master Haruki turned off the lamp, letting only the moonlight caress them. "Rest," he whispered. Emptiness is not absence. It is space for peace to enter. And so the young man closed his eyes. His mind was an open sky, and each thought that once disturbed him now floated without importance, like leaves carried by the wind. There were no more questions. There was no more noise, only silence, deep, tender, eternal. And in that silence, he fell asleep,